Hello everybody, I'm Richard Holder, and, well, you know the drill by now. Welcome to the channel. But please, while you're here, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, go to all those things, do all that stuff so you get notified when I do all this testing. And I have a couple of questions for you. Who loves the 4.8 liter? Yes, I'm one of those guys. I got other questions for you. How do we make more power with a 4.8? You know, without resorting to like over camming. Very important on a 4.8 liter. What about carbureted 4.8, guys? I'm going to show you which intake to pick, because just like it's easy to over cam a 4.8, it's easy to over intake a carbureted 4.8. What does Richard mean by all this? Let's check it out. Okay, guys, let's jump right in and take a look at how we upgrade our 4.8. You know, the 4-point great, the little engine that could, the smallest version of the LS family. And for that, obviously, sometimes it's looked down upon by its big brothers, the 5.3, the 6.0, 6.2, and the 7 liter, I guess. But the 4.8 liter can be made to make really good power. So the question is, how do we get more power from it? And I'm going to show you exactly that. I'm going to show you how we got more power from a fuel-injected version and how we got more power from a carbureted version, because believe it or not, lots of guys running carburetors, especially, it's so simple. All you have to do is install the ignition controller. There are lots of different carbureted intake manifolds, obviously lots of carburetors to make this work. You can go ahead with your ignition controller, dial in the timing curve that you want. It really works fairly well. And so for a guy putting that in, I'm going to show you actually on the carbureted version which intake manifold would be a much better choice on the little 4.8 liter. But for now, let's take a look at what happened when we ran our 4.8 liter in fuel injected form. So we got our motor from the wrecking yard, and actually this isn't totally a junkyard motor. It started out as that. Long ago, we had hurt one of the pistons, and so we replaced them all, obviously. Other than a set of JE forged pistons in this thing, everything else was stock. It had a stock block, stock crank, stock rods. These were Gen 4 stuff. We had the JE forged pistons, small domes on them. We had our 706 heads that already had a spring upgrade. We have the stock truck intake manifold, throttle body. We did put bigger injectors in it so that we could supply the fuel needed for the higher power level. We ran all of this with a Holley HP management system. We had a Mazier electric water pump, and then the long tube headers were 1 7/8 Holley swap headers with collector extensions on them. So this thing was working fairly well. And the interesting part about this, and I overlaid a couple of other just junkyard motors that we got from the wrecking yard in 4.8s, and they made very, very similar power. In fact, it's almost a direct overlay on a lot of these. I was surprised that maybe the dome piston wouldn't have added a little bit power, but maybe this motor started out a little bit lower than the others, and then the dome piston brought us back. But at any rate, this is what you would get if you actually just got one from the wrecking yard, and it would work equally well for these kind of modifications. So run in this manner with the stock camshaft and heads and intake manifold and all that stuff and long tube headers. Our 4.8 liter produced 335 horsepower and 344 foot-pounds of torque. You can see we got a little horsepower dip, and then it kind of climbed back. We're only looking at a difference of about 3 horsepower there. So it stays fairly flat for a long ways and then falls off out towards 6,500 owing to the mild camshaft, basically. And we'll see what happens when we change that, because we did pick up quite a bit of power. So here's what happened when we added a small camshaft. This one was a Comp Extreme Energy, an XR265 camshaft. I'll go ahead and talk about it. It's your typical kind of truck cam. It was a 522, 529 lift split, a 212, 218 degree duration split, and 114 degree lobe separation angle. You know, fairly mild as things go. But this is an important part for when we're taking a look at a 4.8 liter. You don't want to over cam it. You can see this is a 212 cam, and it's still, most of the gains came past 5,000 RPM. So we went from 335 horsepower up to 382 horsepower. So it did good. We got good gains, and peak torque was up also, although not by much, to 359 foot-pounds, mostly because most of the gains came past the crossover point of the horsepower and torque at 52.52. So you can see we got good gains here, but we're not making quite as much power as we wanted. Sure, we could put a bigger camshaft in it. You could put a different intake manifold on it. You could put cylinder heads on it. But what that really is going to do is add a bunch of power at the very top of the rev range. And, you know, if you put any more camshaft in it, this thing is going to be like a 7,000 RPM motor. A lot of guys don't want that. But the easy way to add lots of power, and you can add it all the way through the curve if you want, is to add a simple wet nitrous setup. And we added a Zex kit. It was a wet EFI, meaning it has a single fogger nozzle, which we located and positioned in front of the throttle body. The single fogger nozzle is fed nitrous and fuel from a controller. We control the amount that it's applied with jetting, and this stuff gets injected right into the factory intake manifold. And you can see we made lots of power. We were up just over 500 horsepower. On the hit, 507, and it maintained right at 499.4 horsepower, and carried that and kind of mimicked the curve with the XR2, the 265 camshaft with the nitrous. So obviously we had done our homework, and we know how to set the nitrous up. We pulled 4 degrees of timing on this. We ran, the jetting was a, I believe a 54. Yeah, 54 nitrous jet and a 32 fuel jet for those guys that are keeping score. And you want to duplicate this. That's the jetting that we used in the nitrous setup in the Zex kit, and it worked out very well. So as you can see, 500 horsepower from a 4.8 liter, just a cam and springs and nitrous. It worked out really well. So now let's take a look and see what happened when we ran this version with a carburetor. Okay guys, now that we've taken a look at what our fuel-injected 4.8 liter is capable of with a simple cam swap and then the installation of nitrous on our EFI motor, let's see what we can do for that carbureted contingent. Let's jump in, and we got our 4.8 liter, and what we have is we have replaced the factory truck intake manifold for EFI with a simple carbureted induction system that included, in this case, a dual plane Edelbrock Performer RPM intake manifold, and in this case we ran a 650 Holley carburetor, and you can see the combination worked out fairly well. We're going to compare that to the truck EFI guys, because we know that the EFI guys want to be better than the carbureted guys, but mostly what we're going to do is compare a single plane and dual plane carbureted combinations, because this is very important, even more so on the 4.8 liter. So this is our carbureted combination with the Edelbrock RPM dual plane intake manifold on our 650 Holley. Run with that combination, we produced 300, and our obviously 265 cam produced 375 horsepower. We had a good, nice flat torque curve, 342 foot-pounds of torque. See, it did fairly well. And the interesting thing is if we compare this to the factory truck intake manifold, EFI guys, get ready to make some comments. So the truck manifold obviously was better from 4,500 out to kind of 6,500. The power outputs were very comparable out at 6,500, but the truck manifold offered a good bit more torque in the meaty part of the curve. The interesting thing is that I wanted to show you is take a look down low though. If you guys, I want you to take a look down below 4,000 RPM, and actually down below 42 or 4,300 RPM. Take a look down there where typically we would kind of associate torque production with the long runner EFI intake manifold. In fact, the dual plane carbureted manifold made more power down there than the truck manifold did. You can see it's by a pretty good bit below 3,500 RPM. And that's interesting. So the dual plane carbureted stuff, there's an argument that can be made is it's going to be, very responsive and fun to drive down there where you spend a lot of your time, and it's equal or better than the EFI stuff below 4,500 RPM. So if you're driving around and you're using most of that RPM range, the dual plane carbureted stuff actually is probably a pretty good combination. If you were to race these, the EFI motor would definitely make more power, and it makes more power for a good part of the curve and part of the curve that you'd be using during like that sort of track acceleration. So the EFI thing probably would be a better combination, but the carbureted motor works very well. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our EFI combination. This is our dual plane combination. And here's a very important point, and this is especially the case on the 4.8 liter. If you're running the small 4.8 liter, and then especially if you have added a camshaft to that, you want to be very careful about your intake manifolds. Lots of guys sell single plane intake manifolds, and while they're, you might think, well, but the 4.8 liter loves to rev. Yes, it has to rev, I guess. But even though it does want to make power at a fairly high RPM, out at 62 or 6,300 RPM, so make it power at 65, you might think, well, a single plane should shine out there, but it doesn't. Here's what a single plane does, because we compared it directly to this one. We ran the Edelbrock Victor Jr. intake manifold. As you can see, from about 5,800 on out, it was kind of the same as the dual plane. They both were making peak power at about the same RPM. But the thing is, everywhere below that, the single plane made a lot less power on the 4.8 liter, and it would not be fun to drive. It would not be responsive. It would not have good signal strength to the carburetor. The single plane on a 4.8 is just not really a good choice, especially when teamed with a fairly mild camshaft like this 265 cam. So here's the thing. If you're going to get a 4.8 and you're putting a mild cam in it and you want it, you know, for something that you could drive around and make power up to 6,500 RPM, definitely on the 4.8, go with a dual plane. Remember, you're older, make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff, and I'll keep testing.